Yo, shalom, shalom. I'm just trying to get everything in order here. Just give me 1 second. The water for tuning in. Another Friday Shabbat. What's going on in the world? Part three. I think we at part three now. um, yeah, there was a lot going on. I just wanted to touch on something that happened in the sports world real quick. Are you good? I'm gonna add you to the stream, my bro. I just want to make sure that I can hear you. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
okay.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so I just want to let me share my screen real fast. Yeah, so you know the brother. You said you can't hear me.
Tawad, you Tawad.
I'm Tawab. Masha, you good? Can you hear me? Everybody put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Just want to make sure that I can be heard. I'm pretty sure I got everything up on my end. Y'all let me know though if y'all want to put a one in the chat, something like that. Okay. Yeah, so I'm a little bit of a football head, but Thawadi, um, so now the brother's gonna be all right. He had for those of you that don't know, this brother right here, number three, he actually suffered a heart attack, or he went in cardiac arrest when my man T Higgins smacked into his chest right here. Um, that's what the brother looked like. He from Pittsburgh, So we're just gonna talk a little bit about that. I just seen um I just seen a lot of compassion and empathy towards this one brother that I haven't really seen in a long time, especially in the entertainment world, just because they always making us out to be less than human and destroying our image. Even when we do play a sport, but in this case, you know, that they were showing love to the brother and everything like that and praying and all this type of stuff. I'm like, well, where's that energy towards the bulk of our issues that we got going on? I mean, don't just you know do it for a guy that dribbles a ball for you. You know, that's entertaining you. Don't just do it for them. Because if he was somewhere driving around at night, police pull him over. At first, he's a criminal. He's not a professional football player. He's just another black man in America. But because he does something for you, right? These other nations I'm talking about, because he does something for you that you're involved in, now you give a damn. But he comes from the same communities that we come from. You understand? Another thing is that life is precious. You know, Now, brother's gonna be all right. Quote from the doctor, right? It's not only that the lights are on, we know that he's home, right? So that's good, and that's really the only reason why I was gonna bring that up. If the brother had did pass away, I probably wouldn't have touched on it, but you know, it's a violent sport, and I know that we are a violent people nowadays. So I just wanted to touch on that. Uh, Brother, can you give me James 4 and 14? If you could read the screen. Yeah, he's getting better. Yeah, he's definitely getting better. So, I mean, because I have compassion towards all of our people, I know that we all do. So maybe, yeah. Football is a violent sport, Mother Mathia. That's something that I had played and everything like that. So you understand, it's kind of how we take out our aggression. We don't want to take out our aggression on each other, which we do still, um, you know. But it's just another way to kind of get out. Um, but like I just seen everybody, like all these nations, man. It was just Like they was praying and doing all these things, but there was a woman from Detroit actually that got um, shot in the side. A young brother wanted to steal her car, and he shot her. He didn't shoot her to kill her, but he ended up doing that. But there was no outrage. There was no prayers for the family. There was no millions of dollars in GoFundMe. It was just another blip in the radar. So I feel like these nations, they pick and they choose. You understand? Uh, but anyway, hey, but if you could see the screen, REI, you could read it from there too as
Okay.
well if it's easier because I got them all. So
Okay. This is the book of. You want me to start reading?
yeah, con.
This is the book of James, chapter 4, verse 14. Whereas ye know not Salakia. Let me start that over. This is the book of James, chapter 4, verse 14. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then vanisheth away.
Yeah, so life is like you're here today and you're gone tomorrow. So it's just another reminder that the Most High could kind of take us out. At random times. We could perish quickly, even on the football field. Um, it's kind of something that happens all the time. Ashar Shabbat, everyone. Yeah, but if you just got tuning in, we talking about Damar. The thing that just kind of frustrated me, at least, was there's not enough empathy and compassion. Not that we're supposed to get it, at least not at this time. But I just find it weird how people pick and choose. At 1 minute we're criminals, but when we put on your jersey, when we put on your little Buffalo Bill jerseys, now we become, you know, someone that you look up to. Shalom, Nawa. Shabbat shalom, brother. All praises. Yeah, I know. And like the scripture said, man, we here today when we're gone tomorrow. So what I was trying to say is that life is precious, and that while we're here as a family, 14 strong, 15 strong, all praises, we're finding ourselves in the truth of the Bible, right? We need to strive for perfection, which is doing the law, statutes, and commandments. And we just got to endure through our demons, endure through our environment, you know, uh, through everything. And we just got to, you know, put our faith in the Most High and let us, let Him guide us, because the man's goings are of the Most High. So, you know, we definitely don't want to stray away. Now, a little bit about this brother, right? He was sheltered in a bad neighborhood, just like like brothers like Derek. I'm talking about D Rose. A lot of us, that finally can make it out of the hood, because I know it's crabs in a bucket mentality, you know, and sometimes we can go well Proverbs, I think it's Proverbs 1:16. Our feet run to do evil sometimes, um, and sometimes we end up losing our life for just that one time, going out with the rest of the knuckleheads on the block. You know, um, give me a Matthews 2:1. I'm
Kind
gonna,
of one.
yeah, 2:1. But like I said, his mom sheltered him, right? He was protected, you know, just like the wise men and Mary and Joseph. Didn't they shelter and protect Yahushua? Didn't Joseph send him away to Egypt while Harah was looking for him? Now Harah himself might not be looking for us, but these curses are looking for us. These police are looking for us, right? Evil is searching us out, you know, everything's trying to come up against our path. It's a spiritual thing. Um, like I said, you have to protect yourself from the dangers of our communities. And sometimes, unfortunately, that's not even enough because the brother had made it out, and yet, he goes through something like this. So we just definitely got to be humble about our situation. You know, um, yeah. But let's see here. Yeah, give me Matthew 2:1. I'll put it on the thing. But didn't Herod wasn't to kill Yahushua, right? Um, and we'll see here. Christ, who you call Jesus Christ, whose real name is Yahushua in the Hebrew, he was born in Bethlehem. So let's get there real quick.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 2 and verse 1. Now when Yahushua was in Bethlehem, the land of, Shalak. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 1. Now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem.
Right. And then just for the sake of time, we'll skip down a little bit because here, Herod, he wanted to kill him, right? Just like this kingdom, they seek to devour the young men too, because the Messiah is going to be a man. That's no slight to the woman, but it's prophesied that he's going to be a man. So what are the nations doing? They're promoting all this violence that we got going on too, as well. And I'll go on the little YouTube thing, and I'll show you what's going on in Chicago too, as well. But let me get let's go down to verse 16, and I got it right here. Ooh, hold on, boom, here we go.
Count on the 1. Verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceedingly wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men.
Khan. So if they wouldn't moved him out of Egypt, right, and he would have probably got caught up in that too as well. And we're in our communities and we're being slaughtered. Some of us aren't even involved in any wickedness. We just like that lady from Detroit, and just like countless other stories. It's just too much. It's just too much, and you're almost numb to it. But we getting slaughtered out here, man. We dropping, man. And I write here that the only difference now is that we destroy each other, right? But that's because we don't know who we are as a people. And every generation that we have now is just getting worse and worse and worse, right? We're improving in ways, right? There's not a better time to learn and to soak things up than now. We have information at our fingertips. We could we have access to things that we never had access before, but we're not using all these resources that the Most High has given us to awaken out of our slumber. Some of us are stuck in the darkness, in the ignorance in our communities. And the sad thing is that only a small amount of people is going to wake up out of that. I wish that we all could wake up out of that thing. But the things that I say are going to be unpopular. If I'm around people my age, they might, walk away from the conversation. They might say something smart. Spirit might come on them, right? But for the most part, we definitely don't want to talk about the more serious things because we're a simple people, and we enjoy simple things, you know, and sometimes that's our downfall. Let me get one of these curses real quick. This is one of the reasons how we deal with each other. So that's Deuteronomy 28 and 28.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 28. Then the Most High shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
Yeah, man, because we don't know who we are. We out here wilding, you know, self sabotage. That's right. That's right. I mean, we could talk about this every week. I know when we go out there on the streets, we definitely gotta talk about that, and I'm gonna talk about that here too as well, and give you a taste of what we might bring out because this is prevalent in Chicago. There's something always going on with these young brothers and the guns, and I think a new thing is that they're robbing Kias and Hyundais because it's a TikTok thing. I think it's just a Midwest thing right now. I think Wisconsin, Wisconsin, Detroit, Indiana. If you got a Kia or a Hyundai, them little young brothers was at it. But the other nations are quick to label that as or they want to pump themselves up and say, see, look, y'all ain't no good. When the young brother DeMar came from that life, and like how we all kind of, for some of us come from that type of life where if it wasn't for us sheltering ourselves from that, then we're a part of it. So we almost halfway there, and that's why the police treat us as such. They treat our licenses like it's a lottery ticket. Like, I know this brother got a felony. So just give me a second here. Let me send brother Yabatazar this link real quick. Yo, Shalom, I want to send you the link. Okay, Shalom. Salakia. Just give me 1 second. All right, come. Yeah, so not only that do we oppress ourselves, but the police is always oppressing us. Like, I just got done talking about that a couple weeks ago with the craziness, the bigotedness, the prejudice that you got in some of these states like North Carolina, I think where Wonder One is at, right? But not only that is that they get away with a lot of that stuff. They get away with it. Give me Zechariah 11:5. Zechariah 11:5. I'll put it in the chat. In Cleveland, it's kids. Yeah, see, I read about that a couple of days ago. So I always kind of look at the news to see what's going on with our people, and it's just the men are real. The men are doing the same thing that men do, being real violent. Out here doing petty theft just for a little bit of economic gain, just because our communities have failed, right? There's no father in the house, which I know that this generation is trying to get that back. Some of us is trying to get that back, but for what it's worth, like the spirit of some of our people, like they prevent some of the good men from kind of achieving it. Yeah, what's going on? Shalom.
Hey, Shalom. Shah Shabbat, fam.
Shah Shabbat. Hey, let me get Zechariah 11:5.
Count on the one. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Most High, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
Right. So every time that there's a crime committed, by a police officer, they have that what do they call that, qualified immunity, and they can't get in trouble. And they can do real heinous things to our people, and they have been for quite some time. It's not nothing new, but they don't get in trouble for it. Even these so-called politicians and these bureaucrats, they thieve and rob and steal and cheat too, and they do it at a higher level, but they don't get held accountable, right? You know, they steal the taxpayers' money, and they don't get a court date. You know, they don't get handcuffs on them or anything like that, right? But you know that power corrupts. Power is a corrupting thing, and power corrupts power absolutely. So it is what it is. But you know, we do bad against each other. You know, it's the culture of violence that our enemies have set up for us to to make popular. Right, we're the only people that really do that, that make music like that, that are engaged in that type of thing. But yeah, white collar crimes, right? White collar crimes. Yeah, man, breaking into cars and driveways, and it's just young. They're young. So my thing is like instead of calling these young little boys criminals, you know, we got to be more concerned. Like, man, like what's going on? You know, what's going on in this world? Like, just these boys are so young. Like, what's going on? There's no guidance. Like, what's going on? So, you know, we have all this focus on this young man that had a heart attack, you know, but where's the same energy applied to these young men that's maybe not be doing so good, that maybe not are on the football field playing, you know? So we got to think about that. And, you know, we know that, you know, we gotta love our neighbor. We gotta love our brother. You know, we're not gonna inherit the kingdom. And so, you know, these young burgers out here, they got hate in their heart. You know, I feel for them. You know, I definitely want them to come back. Let's get 1 John 3:15. You know, because we gotta call it like it is. You know, it's not just a drill. You know, it's not just the op, man. That's your brother. You know, no matter what block he's on. You understand? Because it's not that you just killing him. You know, you killing other people in the community too. You know, the stray bullets. You know, if you can't get him, you're at his family. You know, um, it's just it is what it is, man. We live in a violent culture here, especially here in Chicago. So that's why I thought we will be mindful to kind of compare the two. You know, the violence of this football game and the violence that's in these streets, and how one kind of, you know, transcends the other, you know. And I just think it's a shame, you know. But you know, the Most High is gonna make them pay for what they had done, and we got to pay for not getting out of this state that our enemies have set us up into as well. But First John chapter 3:15. Let me get that. Boom. There we go.
I got you out of one. This is the book of First John chapter 3, verse 15. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer.
Good.
And ye know that no murderer has eternal life abiding in him.
God, you know, and that's real. I mean, you know, some of us are evil, you know, and that's the thing too. I know that some of us can be salvaged as well. I think there needs to be more reaching out. You know, I know that there's different pockets that try to reach out and do their thing, but like I said, it's not going to be everybody. Unfortunately, it's just going to be a small group. You know, we're not all gonna, you know, repent and know that we're doing wickedness and everything like that. So, you know, it's hard to, but we definitely do gotta forgive them though. We definitely do gotta forgive them. And I'll bring that up later. But you know, this is more scriptures. I mean, this is how we were acting in the time of Isaiah too, as well. We can get Isaiah 51:20. You know, that's definitely our people all day. You know, that's definitely us, especially here in America. Isaiah 51:20.
I got it.
Uh,
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 51, verse 20. Thy sons have fainted, They lie at the head of all the streets,
Mm-hmm.
as wild as a bull in the nets. They are full of fury of the Most High.
Right, and we always like on them gas station intersections and whatnot. A lot of things,
Mhm.
happen. It's bad. Like as soon as you go to a gas station, it might be certain death for you. It seems like nowadays. Um, I know that's how that woman got shot. That was from Detroit. That was I think she was a worker in the hospital too. And when they recognized it was her, they was real sad. So you know, it is what it is. But we're wild. We're full of that anger and that wrath of the Most High, and sometimes the Most High uses those young brothers to punish us for our iniquities too, as well. So it kind of goes full circle. But we got to know that this is more of a spiritual thing, and we got to recognize that we got to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, and teach our children that too while they're still young, so they can try to shelter themselves like the brother Damar had sheltered himself. Now he had help from his mother though. See, his mother was in his life too as well. Um, you know, and it's on us too. Um, but at the same time, we got to be careful who we make children with, and we got to be, you know, prepared to take on children as men. We can't run away because we got to know that our child might become a murderer, right? And he might be the one that terrorizes the community. So yeah, yeah, young brothers is trying to get in the house. Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. What you say? Yeah, yeah, here either. Right, right. I already know what you got. You better not go near her house. But that's what it is. Some of us are gonna be evil. Some of us are gonna run to do evil, right? Um, but we just gotta make sure that we're not a part of that. And we gotta just salvage as many people as we can. You understand? Um, but that goes to say that children are oppressors, right? So let's get Isaiah, because if we're not balancing it out and we're not being a parent, we're not balancing it out as far as like the fathers in the child's life, which we know that it started out as uh, I mean, there's always been a plan to destroy the so-called black nuclear family, but now it's kind of taken a life of its own. It's almost like you spin something so many times and then you can let it go and it just keeps on spinning. That's how this thing is in our community now. They spun it around so much, you know, that it's just spinning by itself. And it's up to us to kind of hop up out of this thing, you know. But it's hard while it's still spinning. But it is what it is. Let's get it, brother. Isaiah 3 and 12.
You got it. Got it. This is, the
Shalom.
book, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which led thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths.
Right, right. I mean, I know we got the single mom, single parent houses and everything like that. I know some are trying to do their best. I'm not here to slander nobody, nothing like that. But the fact is that whether you're a single parent or not, we need both parents. The child does better with both parents. You know, um, that may not always be the case, but we know what it's like right now. So, I mean, I get the statistics, but I mean, we already know what it is. We can't just let the woman rule over the children without the father in the house. And we'll get into the natural order of things a little bit down the road. And even our leaders in our community, the church members and everything like that. Sometimes they do their thing, and sometimes they're corrupt, and you see them get locked up, and you see them with all your money, all your tithe money on their neck and on their wrist, and you see it in the luxury cars, and they're not really teaching. the flock at all. They're just fleecing the flock. They're not teaching the flock. They're fleecing you. They robbing you. You know, your son's out robbing, and the pastor's out robbing you. You know, we all kind of had a part in this thing, right? And this is the state of our community. But the Most High is gonna get even. You know, the Most High is gonna get even. Give me Second Thessalonians 1:6. Second Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 6.
Kind of the one. This is the book of Second Thessalonians, chapter 1, verse 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
Right. So you know, tribulation. It's a state of great trouble. It's suffering, right? So you know, and then there's many other verses too as well. But I just like to chose this one. It's short. It's sweet. It goes along with what we're trying to talk about today. But you know, the Most High is going to get even with them. We just have to make sure that we're on the Most High's good side too. You know, so that when He does get even with all the divisive things that cause us to be like this right now, you know, we could fully be vindicated and justified, you know, and be satisfied, you know, because why are we going to burn with them? You know, they did so many terrible things to our people. For us to not repent when we do it to each other, you know, we're going to have to pay for that unless we repent and we knock it out, right? You know, the world knows who we are, and they're getting to know us a little bit better. You know, you've seen the Kanyes and the Kyries. I know that stuff is going to die down, but you know, we turning up though. We turning up. People is definitely waking up to this thing, and we got to understand, you know, who we are as a people, so we can stop, you know, killing each other. Man, it's crazy. And it's a shame that the other nations don't realize it yet. And I know that they do realize that we are the people. So at least at the highest levels. But when you know, the lower levels of their people, you know, the everyday man and woman of these other nations, when they know that we're the people, they probably might be a little bit upset. You know, and there's been a lot of people that's spoken out against the wickedness of their people too as well, and how they deal with us. I know there was a Chinese woman that say they use the Chinese as a buffer for white supremacy too as well. And she said that out of her own mouth. I could damn near get the video too. It's in my history, but it's like 3 minutes, so I don't want to do all of that right now. But you know, even feminism, which is something that I want to kind of segue into as well. You know, I see a lot of that, you know, with you know, the spirit that our men and our women are having against each other too, as far as relationships and dating. We see that everywhere. We see that on Facebook, you know, with the polygamy and not, and you know, bashing brothers in the truth, bashing women in the truth, and pick me's and passport bros and all these types of different things. But I kind of just wanted to talk about this thing called divesting. Like, I don't like, you know, we don't do that, you know, but I'll talk about that in a moment. Let me get Job 5:12.
So like in my computer, my Wi-Fi got the lag.
Okay. Well, I'll get it for you, brother. Job 5:12. Oh, let me get it. Because I think I got the a new version. Give me 1 second to make sure I got it right here. So, Job 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So, you know, the people that are on the higher levels that you know, seek to destroy us through means of, you know, and planting drugs in the neighborhood, the mass incarceration, the toxic dysfunction on television, all these types of things, Um, but like I said, the Most High is going to save a remnant of His people from out of that, and some of our people aren't falling for all of that. I know that the young girls and the young boys are probably looking up, and I know that some of them are looking up and they're seeing what we're doing, and they're saying, you know what, I don't want no part of that. I don't want no part of that. I want to be a helpmeet to my man. And the men are saying, I don't want to be a whoremonger. I don't want to be going around and not making babies and not wanting to deal with them. So hopefully that keeps up. Some of the children, as they're being targeted. Not a lot in our neighborhoods now, but with all that Rainbow Coalition type of thing, they're being targeted and perverted. So hopefully, that stays away from us and our young ones. I know that we've participated enough in sodomy as it is. And I would definitely want to see that kind of simmer down. I know that I keep on seeing these commercials like this RuPaul drag shows coming back on now with all these drag queens and everything. Because, it's funny because he, that brother was on when I was younger, but I didn't, I couldn't make sense of it. So I didn't know what was going on, but I just think it's funny how, it's circling back around again for this other generation, for them to eat it up. So hopefully, they fall out of that. Another thing, let's get another scripture we're dealing with that, right? Because this is what they have to do, because if we all wake up, then it's game over. Their kingdom's done, right? The prophecy is going to continue to happen. This American dollar is going to continue to decline, and then that World War III is going to pop off. You see the Euphrates already drying. So, prophecy is definitely taking place in these last days. Let's get Isaiah 32:7.
One. Isaiah. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter. Give me a quick second. Let's select it. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. It's all right.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 32, verse 7. The instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right.
Right. So what is churl? They said the instruments of the churl are evil, and it said he deviseth. Another word for that is knave, right? Which is I think I put that on here. Knave, unprincipled, a dishonest person, right? It's a villain. That's our enemies. These other nations aren't our friends; they're our enemies. We always bring out the power, the Psalms 83 and the crafty counsel with all the nations on the higher levels that despise that conspire against us. And the thing about this feminism stuff, I think, our women were fed a poison pill, and it kind of is rooting its head again. It's not just our women; it's really a lot of different men, white men too, that are seeing this ruliness, but at the same time, it's our women that are kind of really going hard with it when it's not intended. It wasn't intended to be like this at all. It's getting a little bit too extreme. Now, the white woman is definitely slick, right? She's when it comes to white supremacy, she's the one that's the double agent. That's their secret weapon, and she had fed us something that we shouldn't have took, because now it's gotten way worse, right? I know, there was 2 trials, right? You had the Tory Lanez, and then you had the Johnny Depp. From my understanding, both of them women were lying. Okay, but you ever heard lying on Johnny talk about he beat her up, and then you got Megan which I think she was lying on Tory Lanez saying that he shot her. Now, in one aspect, you had our women championing this and really publicly bashing Tory, and on the other end, you have white women shaming Amber, telling her to get the hell on somewhere. Now she can't even be on Aquaman 2 because they know that they cannot do that to their men. You know, they need to work together. You know, this white supremacy thing, it goes hand in hand. They need to be together. And plus, you know, scriptures say that well, let's get it. Let's get Luke 11 and 18. Right, because a house divided is gonna fall. And so this is their house. Right. So they can't be at odds with each other like that. You know, maybe in secret, but they don't just, you know, do that to their men, you know. So I think our women are being tricked. I'm not bashing our women. I'm just saying that, hey, y'all are going a little bit too hard with all this stuff I'm seeing on TikTok. You know, I know that Cynthia G, that man, if you go on her channel, man, you gonna feel some type of way about yourself, especially as a man. When you go on there, you're like, whoa, who hurt you? You know, because I know that we all get hurt by different people in life, but that doesn't make it right to you know, vilify the whole nation of people from your nation too as well, you know. But you know, it is what it is, you know. We just gotta learn to forgive though too as well. But Luke 11 and 18.
Kind of the one. This is the book of Luke, chapter 11, verse 18. If Satan also be divided against himself, how can his kingdom stand? Because ye say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub.
Right. So that's talking about Christ, right? But anyway, but the first part is what I want to concentrate on, because you know you can't have, you know, the white nuclear family in disarray, because that's going to shake up the foundation of this whole nation. Now, prophecy is happening, right? The curses are slowly creeping up on them too. So you're going to see a little bit more dysfunction between them. But at the same time, you know, us, if we're all on a plane, you know, and they tell you to kick me out the plane, and you do, 15 minutes later, that white woman going to go over to her man and say, now kick her ass out. And then you going to get kicked out the plane too. so you know, that's what's really going on. Like, you don't know that you're going to get kicked out the plane. I know that and that's this nation, and it's smoke and its mirrors, right? But yeah, we got to stop that divisiveness. Man, we got to stop that divisiveness. There's one thing that the brothers are killing each other, and it's another thing to see our people, as far as on the dating scene, you know, despise each other, you know, in a way that isn't really natural. It seems like no other group of people is really doing that to each other like that. Like the scriptures say, the man and the woman are going to have enmity towards each other. They're going to have bad blood towards each other. So that's to be expected. But like I said, you know, we have to have a small group of people come out of that. You know, that's what the Most High is looking for, a small group of people to come out of that. It's not going to be everybody, but, you know, if you do find yourself in a successful relationship rooted in the foundation of Yahushua, please do show that off. Please do show that off. I know people are hating it and they jealous, so don't show it off too much, but definitely let your light shine. Like the scriptures say, our people and our young ones need to see things like that, right? I wouldn't be the man I am today if I didn't see things out in the world that were positive. Because I seen things that were negative. That's all you really see is negativity. But when you see the positive things, you know, while you're still a sponge, you know, that could work wonders later on, right? And so this thing is, you know, we're calling this thing divesting now. I know that we have this thing called passport bros now, you know, brothers getting passports and meeting other women. You know, yeah. So yeah. And I'm just like, but okay. So first thing is, hold on. So our people don't want to get along. They want to divest, right? They want to see other nations. But we shouldn't venture outside of our nation because the world was made for our sakes. I was talking to Awk Words about that. I was like, man, I need to go on a vacation, man. I need to go to the beach, and he was like, man, ain't nothing wrong with that, King. Second Ezra's, the world was made for our sakes. There's women out here scattered around everywhere for us, right? Like a guy's trip now. But I mean, I don't want to just put it on the man, but the same thing with the women too. I know that y'all going to Jamaica and all these type of things too to do that, but we're also going to other nations of people though, and that is when I draw the line. Some brothers is just all about just. I know, yeah. People do be going crazy though. People do be going crazy, but like I said, we got 12 tribes. I think we said that before a couple weeks ago. It's good to find somebody in your own tribe, in your own nation. But if you're traveling abroad trying to seek something out, make sure it's got an Afro in front of it. Afro Colombian, right? Afro Brazilian or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So we shouldn't be going to Thailand and doing all of that. Right. Amsterdam. I hear people going to Amsterdam and everything like that. Don't do that. That's another little wicked device to try to break us up, right? And to break up our nation, because there's bad things that happen when we do this whole divest thing and swirl, as you like to call it, in these interracial relationships too as well. So let's give me First Kings 11 and 1 and 2, I believe. You might have to get it because I didn't bring out the other ones. Did you say? I was told this white panhandler that annoys me every time I see her. I tell her to stop asking me for money. One day I told her she's the devil. The Bible speaks. So, yeah, you gotta tell it to their face, definitely, especially when you're outside of work. Let them know. We gotta let them know their place, so they know that the evil that they're doing, they don't know anything.
She like the other one. You had said First Kings chapter 11, verse what?
11 verse 1, 1 and 2, I believe.
1 and 2.
About Solomon with the strange wife.
God.
God.
This is the book of First Kings, chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, the women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, and Zidonians, and the Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Most High said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall marry them. Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love.
Right. So it says to go not unto them. If you're going, going and got your passport, don't go on to those other nations though. We would all like to deal with our women here as well because we went through, we go through the same things. As far as our psyche, I feel like we owe it to our people here to try to make things work out. But if you got to go elsewhere, if life steers you in that course, stay Israel. Stay Israel. Don't try to get nothing else, because that might be end up bad for you. Like bad things happen when we date strange nations. Y'all hear about baby, the white woman killing the babies. I hear about white men killing uh, the uh, the the sister that he's with. You know, the whole disappearing, couple thing, and all of that type of thing. So, hold on one second. Let me see. You said what are Zidonians? Should be like a Middle Eastern, maybe a Ishmaelite nation. Yeah, but that's the one thing. We don't want to run away from different people. It was like what is that? Zidonians, Phoenicians, like Phoenicia. They could spell with a S too. Could be like Lebanon, like the Lebanese, something around there. That's why I like to say like Middle Eastern. I know that people had changed their colors and whatnot, and but yeah, that's around that area. So hope I answered your question. But anyway, let's get Isaiah 13 and 15, right? Because that's bad luck sometimes when you so-called divest, when you're with different people, right? So he said, what are the Zidonians? It would say like maybe Phoenicians, right? Ancient Phoenicians, modern day like Lebanon. So Isaiah 13 and 15.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
Right. So them, other nations, right? Strange men, strange women, right? And it's happening now, just like I stated. I'm not going to bring out the articles, which I got them. And let's just share something because I missed it. Let me go get something. Just show you a little taste of what's going on, in the neighborhood. So, look at this. A white woman getting punched in the face in River North. Got a wild shootout that just happened. Brothers with the switches. That's why, people are really randomly getting caught by stray bullets because the young brothers have got them switches on those handguns and they go in there and they spitting them out like crazy, right? You got robberies going on, right? 3 people shot in Walmart, postal workers getting robbed, tow truck crew getting shot overnight, 16 shot within 36 hours, things like that. I know that's a little month ago, but that's so much action in just a couple of days. So much action in just a couple of days. You know, it is what it is. There's only a remnant of people who are really going to see what they have to do to be on the good side of the Most High, right? And they're going to know that we got to build and we got to work on our family, right? A lot of times, yeah, it is a bit scary. It definitely is a bit scary. It's just people. When we talk about traveling to different places and how dangerous it is, I'm just like, oh, man, I live in Chicago. I mean, I can go at any minute. I mean, it's random, So I mean, I definitely want to go to a different one. At least I know that you might not have a gun. I'll deal with you if you got a knife. But for the most part, our people are so vicious. Our young men are so filled with that fury of the Most High. It's not even about robbing you. They'll definitely shoot you. After they get everything they need to get. So that's how wicked it is out here, right? Mashah, what's going on? Shalom, Mashah. Same as in the days of Noah. I know that's right, right? But yeah, we have become a little bit more selfish when it comes to our relationships with each other. We want things that are vain, things that aren't holistic or spiritual. We want things that are materialistic and has no foundation. We're not building the foundation on Yahushua, which is stronger than any type of lust that you may have towards one another. That foundation is going to stay strong and is rooted in a sound doctrine, and it's going to keep your household in order. It's going to have your children prosper so they can be more of a light to the community instead of a darkness in the community, because it's only going to take so many generations for us to see that, man. We got to stop doing all of this, and hopefully that time is coming. Like I said, I know the young ones are looking up at us, thinking about, man, we don't want to do it like this, y'all crazy. We going to try to go back to the 1940s as fast as we can, as far as the so-called black nuclear family is concerned. At least I hope some of us do, right? But let's get and everybody gonna make it though. Let's get Zechariah 13:8. Yeah, okay, hold on. You said you in a carry state, but they still look at you like you're crazy. Yeah, because they know that they like how you sent me that video of what them police had to say about us. When they see us with practicing our Second Amendment, they're thinking the worst because they want to do the worst to us. So they're just projecting. They want to do the worst to us. So they're like, wait, is he going to do the same thing to me? It's like, no, brother. I mean, now we can, but patient we're supposed to be, because we are the saints and we got to stay patient and wait, for the Most High to give them their tribulation, which is slowly happening. It comes in due time. I got it right here too. Did I post it?
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 8. 3 shepherds also I cut off in 1 month, and my soul loatheth them.
Zechariah 13:8.
Oh, so dang. Oh, so like.
No, you're good.
Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, said the Most High, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein.
Yeah, so we don't want to be, a part of that 2/3 now. We want to have, we want to be, transformed, But that's why we got to endure to the end. We got to, just like how I started with a young brother DeMar, we got to stay sheltered. Hopefully the parents or the parent shelters you, is not so busy about, not so in work. I know that, we got to work and all that type of stuff too, but we definitely got to watch out for our children though, to make sure that they're not out there doing wickedness too as well. We just have to care a little bit more and not care about, just paying the rent, the bills and things like that in that nature, and not using our children to alleviate some of our parental duties as well, So let's get the natural order of things, because that's why we all out of whack. So, Mighty Bruce, keep up the good work. Oh, okay. Shia, Shalom. Shalom, Mighty Bruce. Keep up the good works. I'm trying to bring precepts to get my uncle out of this Yahweh Ben Yahweh doctrine. Any precept I can help him see he's not Yahweh Shai in the script. Okay, Khan. Yeah. I mean, we gotta look up something for that. I know that you could post some of the questions too that you need. I'll set up the ticker or the banner.
Yeah.
You
Hey, if I may. Hey, can you hear me? Hey,
Yeah.
the reality of it is, man, you're gonna probably get into this scriptural battle. I believe he said that's his uncle, man. He's gonna be into it's just gonna be a scriptural battle back and forth. In a lot of instances, when our people have been swayed to serve another Mashiach, remember the scriptures warns us about teaching of another Jesus or Yahweh Shai, right? So because this brother, your uncle may be so far indoctrinated into that Yahweh doctrine. I'm not sure what scriptures you can really do, um, or any precept you can use that's going to change that brother's mind. The main thing is to pray for the brother and ask the Most High to give him enlightenment, and just continue being a brother to him and tell him to serve the Most High and not man. Yahweh, I won't speak a lot about the brother. The brother served his purpose. There's a lot of good things out there about the guy. I believe his name was Rulan Mitchell. If I remember the brother, used to be a Christian, then was in the Nation of Islam, and then eventually named himself the Messiah. I've heard about some of his good works. I've heard about some of his wicked works down there in Florida and the things that he was doing. I would just say keep that brother in prayer, man. I don't think there's any single precept that's gonna make that brother see any different. I'm just being honest. That might be a spiritual thing for him and man worship. I'll come back if I can find something real quick. But go ahead.
Okay, cool. Yeah, throw out a further question too. Yeah, we got to get out of these different doctrines too as well. I know that they're a stumbling block, especially when we got family members, and different things like that. Because I know that my family members thought I was Muslim and everything like that, so I had to tell them to cut that out. But you definitely gonna go in to get into it with your family though, and that's kind of the hardest thing too. But yeah, let's get 1 Corinthians 11:3.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of the head of Christ is God.
Right. So it's not only that it shows you that the scriptures are saying, the man is supposed to be the leader in the house. It's not like you're going to be, I know our people like to, when we come with this and we say the words like submit, it's almost like you feel like you're like chained up to like a kitchen or something like that, getting beat on. But that's not what that is. We need the Most High in our households. Our sons, particularly our sons, there's only so much you could do as a woman to raise him as well. So you definitely need that extra guidance from that man, especially if he's rooted in the Most High and Yahweh Shai, so he could teach him the ways. And if you fall off, you're going to fall off. But at the most part, there's not going to be a lot of that in the household. At least maybe when he gets older, he might rebel. But as far as in the same house as that man, it's going to be, a little bit difficult for him, or else he might get kicked out a little bit early if he's truly unruly, But I think since we're out of order with this, our communities are out of order as well. You right? So, skip down to verse 7. Skip down to verse 7 too.
Hey, when you got a second, I do got a few precepts for that brother. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I got 3 more after this, so that's it.
Verse 7. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, far as much as he is the image and glory of the Most High.
Who is he?
The image and the glory of the Most High.
Right. And who is the woman?
But the woman is the glory of the man.
Right. So that's why we got to know who we are, man, because we're the image and the glory of the Most High. As far as our women go, when you do try to seek a man, it's not just about, money. And that I don't hear us a lot talking about, wanting somebody that's rooted in these scriptures, as much as one would probably want to to have. I mean, he's responsible for making people rich and poor anyway. Um, you know, um, we definitely prosper, when we have him in our life. So, I mean, money and everything, all that good stuff that will come in a God fearing man, but that's not the first on our agenda. Same thing with the other side, with the fellas. We like a pretty faced and you know, all of that Coke bottle shape and all that type of thing, but we don't understand that that could be death to us. There's snares and traps in some of these uh, you know women that's out here with just the looks alone, because the looks can be very deceiving. Same thing with men too, you know because looks can be deceiving for both of us. Yeah, I seen a lot of that too. I know that we're definitely afraid now. Like, hey young man, pick up your pants. Let me tell you this story about buck breaking. Like, just like how we were talking about it. Hopefully you don't sag your pants anymore. And then, hey young lady, you should try to, you know, cover up a little bit, leave something to the imagination. You dress like a queen, you might get a king. And have a complete stranger saying that, not their friend, not their mother, their auntie, their cousin, their uncle, but a complete stranger. You might think about, when you're acting out of order in public with a group of people, maybe someone that comes up and tells y'all about yourselves. Maybe when you in that same group, you kind of subconsciously say, nah, we ain't gonna get treated today. We gonna act right. So it's just because and that shows too, because a lot of times when children aren't getting paid attention to, what happens, they start drawing on the walls, they end things that they ain't supposed to be in to garner that attention. So you know sometimes our people just kind of lash out for that attention, but if you correct that, right then and there, as a complete stranger, maybe that's that type of parental, guidance that they kind of be needed out in the community, right? The community already is in shambles. So it's almost like how the community is on the outside, we are on the inside. It's a mess on the outside, we're a mess on the inside. But I mean, this is what we all should be striving for on one another. Give me First Kings 2 and 3.
Got another one. This is the book of First Kings, chapter 2, and verse 3. And keep the charge of the Most High thy power, to walk in his ways, and to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou may prosper in all that doeth, and whithersoever thou turneth thyself.
So I mean, if you out there and you getting them questions asked, what do you look for in somebody? You definitely want somebody to keep the charge of Yahweh our power, and for that person to walk in the law, statutes, and commandments, because he's going to prosper at his job. He's going to prosper with his family. He's going to prosper everywhere he goes, just like Joseph was, where he went from jail all the way to getting in Pharaoh's bag, right? Rags to riches. So, I mean, if we have the Most High in our life, as a man, it supersedes everything, right? Because this is the reality right here. This money is going to go away. It's going to lose its effect, right? The only money that's really going to be of value is the knowledge of the Most High. Because I know that people are attracted to power, and we are the sons of the living power. We are the princes of that power. So that will probably that's going to be the only power left in this world after the money goes. That and the weapons of war. Can we get Luke chapter 16, verse 13?
Luke chapter 16, verse 13. Kind of the one.
Yo, Shalom, Alberto. Yeah, Zebulon is definitely in the house. That's for sure, bro. All right now.
Luke chapter 16, verse 13. No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he would hold on to one and despise the other. You cannot serve the Most High in mammon.
Right, you can't serve the Most High in money, especially when you're compromised by that money. You know, you see Kanye in that little pickle that he's in, right? You know, it's it probably will drive you crazy, right? So it doesn't help that the money's losing its value too as well. So we got to be, you know, more concerned about the spiritual things in each other, right? Just to recap, you know, life goes by quickly. We never know what's going to happen to us. So we got to stay rooted in this truth. We got to endure so that we're prepared to meet our maker, right? And do everything that we can in this world, right? If you care about a person's hygiene, then you should be concerned whether that person's spirit is clean or unclean, right? Not only does he keep himself, but is he a spiritual man? Does he pray? Does he repent? Does he know scriptures? And I think once we start applying those spiritual checkpoints in our checklist, we'll find ourselves in a little bit more wholesome relationships with each other, right? Because like Matthew 6:33 said, but seek ye first the kingdom of Yahweh and his righteousness, and all these things should be added onto you, right? So with that, that's pretty much the class that I had. If you're about this, I want to answer more of the brothers' questions.
Sure, the water out of one. Just real quick, I just want to go in the chat real quick. Shout out to the brother, Original Jew. That's my brother, Daniela. Daniela is one of the brothers from Chicago, an Ephraimite brother. Got a lot of history with this brother. Beautiful musician, producing a lot of righteous works out there in music. And I just want to send out a shout out to that brother. See the brother Alberto. Now I'm trying to get back to the brother's comment. I had it up. I'm about to it. I know his name is Yeshaya YWH or something like that. So let my eyes catch up with the screen.
I got it right there.
Okay, kind of. So, Shalom, my Hebrews, keep up the good work. I'm trying to bring precepts to get my uncle out of this Yahweh being Yahweh doctrine. Any precept I could help him see he's not Yahweh shine his scripts. As I stated, brother, y'all gonna wind up swinging a sword. It's gonna be on God. Honestly, because sometimes people are really, really locked into these doctrines. But here's a couple of scriptures that I found that you might want to run at your uncle, man. So one of them is, let's go to the book of Isaiah 53:5.
Got you.
As a matter of fact, do me a favor, start up with Isaiah 53:4.
Come on. Isaiah chapter 53.
Start at 3. Bump up to 3 at 5.
Kind of the one. Kind. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 53, verse 3. He is despised and rejoiced of men.
Read that again.
Isaiah chapter 53, verse 3. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid as it were our own faces from him. He is despised, and we esteemed him not. Verse 4. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of the Most High, and afflicted. Verse 5. But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed.
So, Brother Yeshaya, the first thing you need to ask your uncle, when the hell was Yahweh ben Yahweh wounded for our transgressions and bruised for our iniquities? And when did we ever get healed from his stripes? When did that ever take place? It hasn't, because he's not Yahweh Shai. He was not despised, Yahweh ben Yahweh. He was received by many, many women. He was a multimillionaire. We read nothing in the scriptures about Christ being a multimillionaire with convoys and convoys of Mercedes Benzes and cars like that in mansions, right? When did this man bear our griefs and carry our sorrows? Never. When was he oppressed and afflicted? Is your uncle saying that this man, Yahweh ben Yahweh, was brought as a lamb to the slaughter? Impossible, bro. Your uncle would need to pull up some precepts to show you that that Yahweh Shai was going to die, resurrect, and then be reborn again through a woman's womb. So are we saying that his parents was Joseph and Mary? And we're not talking about the Virgin Mary. When did this ever take place? Let's go over to, let me see. Give me John 19 and 30.
John. This is the book
And
of
actually,
John.
Salaki, we're going to start up. My system's moving a little slow. Give me start at 29.
Con. This is the book of John, chapter 19, verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
Now there was a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar, and put it upon hyssop, and put it to his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And when Yahushua therefore had received the vinegar, he said, "It is finished." And he bowed his head and gave up the ghost.
Right. So you need to ask your uncle this. When did Yahweh ben Yahweh receive the vinegar and upon himself and said it was finished and bowed his head and gave up the ghost? This was done before the nation. This was before the Jews, right there in Israel. Didn't his brother die in a prison cell down in Miami, Florida, or in one of the federal prison systems? Where can we read that the soldiers came and break his legs off and crucified him? When did the guards attempt to break his legs? Where was he crucified? Where were we at to be able to witness this? Did you witness this resurrection and rebirth of Yahweh Shai through this guy called Yahweh ben Yahweh? Impossible. Let's go over to Galatians 1 and 7.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 1, verse 7. Which is not another, but there be some that trouble you, and would pervert the gospel of Yahushua.
Right. So this is a clear perversion about the truth of Hamashiach Yahushua, the only true anointed Savior that came from the seed, from the loins of King David. I'm not saying Yahweh ben Yahweh is not one of us or an Israelite, but come on, bro. There's no way in the world that this guy could be the Mashiach if we're still in captivity. Where's the Most High's kingdom on earth? What about the Lord's Prayer? Has the Most High's kingdom come down on earth? Why are we still in captivity, out of one? Ask your uncle. How come this guy did not deliver us back to Israel? And how come all our enemies are not put in bondage right now? Where's the 1,000 years of peace where the world knew no more war? We're in the midst of World War III right now.
Okay.
Where is Yahweh ben Yahweh right now? Is he the guy that helped took the small hats over to Israel? I mean, they're sitting back saying that their Messiah has returned already. But wait a minute. We got this guy called Yaju claiming that he's the Messiah, the return Christ. And then we got another dude calling himself the Jesus Christ that's back. Didn't we just read about the perverting of the gospel and the teaching of another Christ? That's a precept for your ass right there, bro. And I mean that with all sincerity. Give me Galatians 2 and 4.
Galatians chapter 2 and verse 4. And because of the false brethren unawares brought in, who came in privately to spy out our liberty, which we have in Hamashiach Yahushua, that they might bring us into bondage.
Right. So pretty much, I'm going to read it from the Good News Translation, brother, because your uncle was in bondage, man. And that's why I sat back and said, man, everybody on this platform should pray for that brother's uncle, man, because that brother's been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and all of that, man. That's a strong dosage of sorcery and witchcraft to believe that Yahweh ben Yahweh is the Messiah to return. So I'm going to read it in the GNT. It says, although some wanted it done, pretending to be believers, these men slipped into our group as spies in order to find out about the freedom we have through our union with Hamashiach Yahushua. They wanted to make slaves of us or enslave us. So because of this false doctrine, your uncle's mindset has been enslaved to lies and deceit, out of one. And I mean that with the utmost respect and the most and in all humility. Because remember in the book of Romans 8 and 15, it says we have not received the spirit of bondage and fear, but we received the spirit of adoptions of sons. So if you look at the leader and what this brother did and what was going on, there's tons of videos out there about this guy, man. I did a lot of research on this guy maybe about 8-10 years ago. And one of the things this guy did was when he made his move down into Miami, they had this apartment complex down there. I forgot what the name of the complex was, but they had this apartment complex where there's nothing but Jake, right? These are rundown houses and all that, like little mini projects, or as we call in Chicago, bungalows, right? This guy goes up in there pretending that he's going to fix all these places up, had these people sign these documents and contracts as the new landlords. And instead of honoring their leases, he sent the gangsters up in there, the so-called wicked brothers amongst them with guns and all of that, and ran them people out of their houses, made them people homeless, committed violence against them, right? Give me 2 Corinthians 11:13.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 13. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Yahweh, of Hamashiach.
Yo, this brother is off the chain, man. Not only is he a false prophet and a deceitful worker, but he's not only trying to transform himself into Hamashiach Yahushua, but think about it. He had all of those people following him into a path of destruction and out here teaching as false prophets and apostles of Hamashiach Yahushua. That's horrible, man. That's pretty scary when one man has that much power that he can persuade that many people. I mean, this is nothing new. What was the guy's name that I'm trying to think of that crazy pastor that give me 1 second. Give me a second. Give me I'll get it real quick. Oh my God. David Koresh. David Koresh. We've seen this before. David Koresh, David Koresh, what did he do? I think that was the guy that had all those people drink that elixir and commit suicide. I'm going to pull it up real quick. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, Jim Jones was another one. Jim Jones. And it's mighty funny that the rapper Jim Jones the Dipset uses this guy's name and moniker, you know what I'm saying, in regards to, you know, for his street glory and all of that, right? Jim Jones was another wicked prophet, right? It says pastors are uniquely positioned to help people contemplating suicide. So a lot of these groups are death traps, right? And there's no righteousness within any of those movements, man. Let me see. I'm wondering if Yahweh ben Yahweh was the Messiah, why are we still seeing our people in captivity and death? Why are we still seeing mistress women in these last days giving birth to monsters? Why do we still see our prison houses filled up with our people? How come we're still at the bottom of society? So if this guy was the Messiah, then none of this stuff would be taking place. Because it says in 1 Peter 3:18, for Hamashiach Yahushua also has once suffered for sins, for the just and for the unjust, that he might bring us to Yahweh, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. So where was the quickening of the Spirit for this Yahweh ben Yahweh guy, according to 1 Peter 3:18, right? How can we have not seen, again, the other nations put in bondage, as I mentioned before? The other nations are not in captivity. The Khazars and Amalek still rule our land, man. So that's pretty much all I got on that for right now. And then we just got Wanda said he didn't have blue eyes. Doesn't fit the scripture. Well, you know what? I don't know if Yahweh ben Yahweh had blue eyes, and I think the brother might have had hazel eyes. But at the end of the day, that is not what it is, man. So you're going to be in a strong spiritual battle with that brother, man. And if the brother doesn't repent, man, just love the brother from a distance and pray to the Most High to remove that wicked spirit off of him. So it looks like the brother says, Alberto Guevara, what is the correct way of fasting and prayers? When the 12 tribes will be united. Camps. What ASO doing? What ASO is doing to unite with all the camps? Okay, brother, I know who this is. All right. So we're going to deal with a couple of things first. So the first question is, when will the 12 tribes be united? That will be when Hamashiach Yahushua brings us back into the wilderness for those 3.5 years, purging out the rebels. Remember, we're never going to be united until Christ comes back and be returned. That's simple as day. We're a nation that's divided through our sins and through hatred and through the curses. You got to think about it. Not every one of us that's awake right now is suffering through the curses. See, there's some of us still suffering through the curses, and then there's others that are walking through the judgments, right? So I don't think that there's any particular time that the 12 tribes would ever be united, right? I just don't see it. I don't know if it's going to happen in my lifetime. It's not going to happen to when Christ comes back. And give me 1 second. Hold on a second, Bob Bishop.
Mhm. Yo, Shalom, Eddie. It's the first time ever using my channel from Cleveland. Yeah, we got a clamp in Cleveland too. I know that you could get in touch with them brothers. I know they got classes on Wednesdays too as well. You can get in touch with our brother Zion too as well on the live. See if I got any of that info. But yeah, Shalom. All praise for you to join us. Yeah, Khan. But as far as like the prayers go, like the correct way would be to I know we have like a thing called 5 pillars of prayer, but at the same time, our prayers are going to be very personal. So I would just start out with your hands up, facing the palms facing the sky, and face the east towards Jerusalem, which is the mother of us all. So wherever you are in your house, face the east, preferably with nobody around. Start off, give your homage to the Most High. State that you fear Him and you're in awe of His glory, right? Maybe even give a couple of shout outs to some of the things that He's created that's beautiful on this earth. I would definitely put in there to keep the promise of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then from there, kind of do whatever is in your heart. Just come correct, come with no deceit. And then when you ask to receive something, just have your hands like this in a receiving manner, and then end the prayer and seal it with your hands closed, and then say Amen. And then, keep it consistent, right? And then, build that connection with the Most High. But that's prayers, though. I know we talked about the 12 tribes being united. We got to wait till the Most High kind of comes back for that.
You can hear me? I'm sorry, my bad. I'm over here.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, it's cool. So I just wanted to deal with one topic at a time. So again, he was asking so the first one, when will the 12 tribes be united? So give me 1 second. Somebody give me Isaiah 56:8.
I got it. Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High, Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 8. The Lord God, which gathereth the outcasts of Israel, saith, Yet will I gather others to him, besides those that are gathered unto him.
So as we see in the book, the prophet Isaiah says that the Most High is going to be the one that gathered the outcasts of Israel, right? We can see the same thing in the book of Jeremiah 29 and 29 and 14. And the reason I will be found of you, said Yahweh, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations, from all the places whither I have driven you, said the Most High, and I will bring you again into the place whence I have caused you to be carried captive away. So now we got 2 precepts saying that it's going to be the Most High, via Yahweh Shai, who's going to gather us and bring us out of captivity or bring us together, right? And then let me see. And then we can look at Ezekiel 11:17 and Ezekiel 20 and 34. Ezekiel 20 and 34 says, I will bring you out from among the people and will gather you out of the countries wherein you were scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched arm and with fury poured out. Ezekiel 36 and 24. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land, right? And then same thing in Sirach 36 and 11. Gather all the tribes of Jacob together and inherit thou them as from the beginning. And who's going to inherit them? Yahweh Shai, right? So that's when we're all going to be gathered together, right? So I don't think it's ever going to. Can you bring that back up online? No, hold on. I can find it. Hold on. Let me find it. Okay. So that's when the 12 tribes are going to be united. Obviously, the scripture says in Zephaniah 2:1, gather yourself together, O nation not desire. So right now, what we're doing is you're slowly starting to see us coming together, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? And then the ones that are scattered even outside, further away from us across the other ends of the earth. So that's when that's going to be fulfilled. And he's asking, what AOC doing to unite with all the camps? Example, Sakari, IUIC, ISU. Hey, I believe I've already answered this question for you, brother, once in a text and over the phone a couple of times. But the reality is, it's the same question. There's nothing that we're going to be able to do to unite all the camps across America, let alone in the world. Right? It's not going to be possible, man. It's just not something that's going to happen right at this moment because it's not that season. Everything is in season and everything is out of season. And right now, you get all these brothers have, look, the Most High has given us all cups and fill our cups. And each one of us has a certain job to do until the end time. So shout out to Sakari for doing all that work, especially dealing with the apologetics and all of those theologians. Shout out to them brothers. Shout out to IUIC, how they're gathering the people and spreading like a wildfire over the four corners of the earth. Shout out to ISUPK. We got mad love for them. One of my favorite brothers over there is Tazariak. I met him in Katazan in person. So as long as we show brotherly love to each other and keeping the commandments with one another, that is actually us being united. Not stepping on each other's toes, not building on another man's foundation. If something is happening in another man's camp, you bring it to the heads of that camp and let them deal with it versus putting it all on Facebook and creating a whole bunch of hoopla and Jerry Springer type stuff and causing division, which is going to look even worse for our nation for those who are looking to come in, right? So he also asked a question about fasting. Man, brother, I've heard so many different ways to fast, but the scriptures do tell us certain ways on how to fast. So just give me a second. And I probably didn't give you all the answers you're looking for, brother, because there's no perfect answer on how we're going to be able to bring everyone together. That's prophecy has to be fulfilled. There's nothing that we can do because we're just mere mortal men, right? So it says, so now back to fasting. According to Joel 2:12, it says, and please drop these precepts in the chat so people can go back and look up. So now we're going to deal with the topic of fasting, right? This is Joel 2:12. Therefore also now, thus says the Lord, turn ye even to me with all your heart and with fasting and weeping and mourning. So when you're fasting, you can fast, go 24 hours, 72 hours without eating. Some brothers might do a water fast, depending on how much they want to suffer their flesh. And I would tell anyone, if you haven't fasted before, according to the scriptures, do it in increments as you build your body's tolerance up. But hey, if you're like me, just go full gusto with it. But remember, your fasting is supposed to be with weeping and mourning, according to the prophet Joel, right? 2:12, right? And this is the book of Jonah 3:7, right? And he caused it to be proclaimed and punished through Salakia. Nope, Salakia. That's not what I want. Drop that. Even with your fast, man, you can kind of cheat your fast the same way as you do on the Sabbath, where you're going to afflict your soul, right? That's the whole point of why you're fasting, you're afflicting your soul, right? It says 1 Corinthians 7:5. It says, defraud ye not one the other, except to be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourself to fasting and prayer. So now we got fasting, weeping, mourning, and prayer. Fasting, weeping, mourning, and prayer. That's for the 5 pillars of fasting right there, right? Let me see. And one of the good reasons of fasting, according to Isaiah 50:86, it says, is it not this fast that I have chosen to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke. So one of the things you can do when you're fasting is going into a deep prayer with the Most High in meditation. To do what? To break the bands of wickedness. To pray we can even fast as a nation to the Most High to undo some of these heavy burdens upon our people, right? So in Tobit 12:8, it says, prayer is good with fasting and alms and righteousness. So another thing you can do is fast, weep, mourn, pray, and give alms. It says a little with righteousness is better than much with unrighteousness. It is better to give alms than to lay up gold. So those are some of the 5 things that you can do in regards to a fast, right? Let me see what else I got. This is Sirach 34 and 26. So it is with a man that fasteth for his sins and goeth again and doeth the same thing. Who will his prayer, or what does his humbling profit him? Meaning that if we're going to fast, make sure we're fasting for our sins, and when we go into that fast, do not return to what we're doing. That's the whole purpose of a fast, is to break things off your life, but also to bring you closer spiritually and mentally unto the Most High. A lot of times through fasting, you'll get a lot of spiritual breakthroughs. You'll gain wisdom. If you go on a 72-hour fast, as some brothers have told me, man, they get bombed with dreams and visions, right? So in the midst of those dreams and visions during your moment of fasting, remember it says that the Most High seals his instructions in the ears that are those that are in deep sleep, right? So those are the things that I would tell you would be some great pillars on fasting and the benefits of fasting and things like that. Hopefully I was able to answer your questions. Because they were kind of, wasn't expected, but thank you again. You got anything on that, Barack?
No, I think you kind of hit it. I was just going through like the prayer stuff just because, I always kind of do that. But yeah, as far as all the questions, I think that we kind of answered them the best that we could. I definitely appreciate we appreciate the 50 piece. Definitely.
Yeah. That's a good brother right there, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, that's Humberto, right?
Yeah.
Con?
Yeah, Con.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought that was the other one, Alberto, man. Yeah, that's a good brother, man. And just understand this, man. Just stay prayerful, man. And there's plenty of scriptures on how to pray and what not to pray for. Just remember not to be repetitive as the heathens, right? But a lot of times brothers, and I get it, man. Trust me, I get it, man. I have that same spirit, like, man, when we all gonna come together? Man, why can't we gather together now? We got the Maccabees of Lions, we got Mashra Yashala, we got all these amazing cancer teachers, all of that. Why can't we all come together? Sometimes it has something to do with, like I said, not the Most High's timing. It also may have some issues to do with brothers' past relationships from the past. Sometimes brothers may still hold grudges from 20, 30 years ago, which is not of the Most High. And we know obviously that is wicked. But at the same time, everything is on the Most High's timing, man. But never, ever, ever hesitate nor forsake the gathering with brothers. Never forsake gathering with the brothers in any camp. Any brothers that'll receive you, gather with them, deal with them, but make sure you test the spirit by the spirit and make sure that their spirit aligns with yours. And a lot of times, if your spirit don't align with theirs, then it's not always their spirit. Sometimes we got to reflect and look in the mirror and look at ourselves and see what's wrong with our spirit on why things like that happen. Let me see what else the brother see. Let me see. Wanda said most people fast, then break their fast with pork chops. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's the brother Humberto. Thought again, out of one. Hey, I'm still waiting on you to give me a call, Ak. I've been waiting for a few weeks, man. Give me a holler, out of one. And let me see, is there anything else? Let's see, my shot in the chat.
Salakia, I do have a precept.
Yeah, go ahead, out of one.
regarding the prayer is in the book of First Kings chapter 8, going
1 Kings chapter 8.
from yep
I'll read it for you. Let me know. Tell me where you want it.
38 through 42.
38 through 42. First, all right, count on one. We're in the book of First Kings chapter 8, verse 38. It says, "What prayer and supplication soever be made by any man or by all thy people Israel, we shall know every man the plague of his own heart and spread forth his hands towards this house. Then hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place and forgive and do and give every man according to his ways, whose heart thou knowest, for thou, even thou only knowest the hearts of all the children of men, that they may fear thee all the days that they live in the land which thou gavest unto our fathers." That's a pretty strong precept right there. Did you want to interject on that, Aria?
No, just straight through.
Right, you want me to go further?
Yeah, to 42. I actually wanted to go all the way to. I actually wanted to go all the way to 54, but I knew it would be too long.
No, yeah, that would be, yeah, we're going to stop at 42. It says that verse 41, 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 41. "Moreover, concerning a stranger that is not of thy people Israel, but cometh out of a far country for thy name's sake, for they shall hear of thy great name and of thy strong hand, of thy stretched out arm, when he shall come and pray towards this house," right? So it's interesting that we can see that we can pray together as a single man or as a nation. So every now and then you might see some of those pop-ups or chats saying, "Hey man, we're going to gather together on the next new moon or on such and such day, or 48 hours before the next Shabbat, and we're going to gather together and pray in unison as a nation." So that I've seen invitations, group chats, I've seen Zoom calls, I've seen things like that. Prayer is always good, man. Without prayer, I don't think any of us would even be able to be here today. Even without fasting, I don't even think most of us would be here today. You know. She said, "My friend was on a Daniel fast and was eating shrimp and crab lobster." Wow. That's not a fast, sister. That sounds like a night at Red Lobster or Joe's Crab Shack. That don't sound like no fast, man. Whoa, that's crazy. Wow, that's crazy. Let me see. We're about 13 minutes from 2 hours. Let me just bring a couple of scriptures out real quick. So, just shout out real quick, man, and all praises to the Most High for the brother Barak for an excellent class. I really didn't. I was sitting back just listening and enjoying myself. Beautiful class, man. Got to see your growth, man, and I can see your flow, right? Definitely, man. So let's go to Isaiah 28 and 15 real quick. Because, going back into what the brother was talking about, what's going on in our communities, what's going on, what in the world is going on in the world, things like that, man. There's so much evil out here. And I was just, I think it was Chief Priest Saban, man. He dropped it in our group, man, about Esau is, I guess he's doing Tarzan training, going back to his roots, talking about they come from apes and things like that. And, so he's got this whole thing going on with like hundreds of people where they're all trying to climb trees and sleep in hammocks and trees and walking backwards on all fours like demons in movies. You've seen those movies, right? Where they're walking on all fours backwards like this on their hands and legs with their head turned around. And these people are actually walking around doing those in this video. And then just following that video even more, scrolling down, they wind up having this big old topic. I'm not sure if I can pull it up real quick. Maybe I can send this over to Brock. Let me go to my Facebook real quick. Let me see if I can get in. Let me log in. Barack, I might send something over to you via messenger real quick. Give me a second. All
right.
Yeah, they were and it's interesting because I just found my book on it, right? Let me just go to messenger. Okay. Let me just mute for a second and open it up, and then I want to get to the. Yeah, I just sent you the one on the Tarzan video, but give me a second. I'm gonna find it. You can go ahead and cue that one up if you got it already. I'm trying to find the other one.
Okay.
Do not forget that you are an animal. We are animals. We come from the ape family, and I think it is time to recognize the animal side. My name is Victor Manuel. I come from Cuba. I am Tarzan coach. My day today will be waking up in a hammock 10 meters high on a tree. I get down, do some stretch, and then start class. The concept of Tarzan classes is based on imitation. We try to imitate gorilla, orangutan, chimps. I decided to teach Tarzan classes because, as it is right now, mental health as well as physical health for us humans is very bad. We need to integrate in our life habits animal techniques. Let's move together. Let's be a kid again. Let's transition from this crazy city lifestyle into something simpler. Live like Tarzan.
Okay. Now, you guys played that, right? So, look, I wanted to give that to you guys just to have a little fun on Friday night, man. That tells you how wicked these people are, and these people really, really think that they evolved from monkeys and apes, man. And just think about it. What was Tarzan famous for, right? Being the king of the jungle. Where do you find most of the jungles in the earth? In the hot climates, where you find melanated people, right? You're right, they are subspecies, right? That's why the Most High referred to certain men as beasts, right? I'm trying to find. I can't find my phone for the life of me. But I wanted to deal with the. Oh, here it is. I wanted to deal with the. There's another video, and I just found my phone. Let me see who just texted me. Did I miss something? Kind of like I see you. Let me see if I can still pull it up. I wanted to go into that weird one, man. These guys, the freaking drag queens, man. Let me see if I can get in there. There was a video also on this feed, man. You'll find a lot of weird things on this feed, man. But it was dealing with that pedophilia, man. With the transgenders or transsexuals or the so-called modern age women who are trying to exterminate or rewrite the history of women and all of that. Teaching in schools and all that, and there was a lot of dialogue back and forth about it, about the wickedness of these people and the grooming of children, right? So I just wanted to, pull that one up, which I can't find. What did she say? Did he say he was from Cuba though? Yeah, he's from Cuba, but no, that's Esau. I don't think that's Jake, because I don't know too many Jakes that's going to be walking around trying to be Tarzan. I could be wrong; he could be a Jake, but I don't know, man. The jury's out on that because this spirit don't bear witness, Brother, definitely, that guy's definitely off. So one of the things we got to do, man, is Isaiah 28:15. It says, "Because you have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell we are in agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. I'm not sure if the other one brought this out earlier, but this is the main reason why we see the destruction in our community. This is the same reason why things like that happened to that brother on the football field. You know, we're in the Roman games. We're playing in the Roman Greek games, right? And we're so much in bed with our enemies that for a few hundred grand to 7 figures, we'll sacrifice our bodies and our minds and our flesh for the glory of the Romans and the Greeks. That is a covenant with death. Yes, you might get a few riches and all of that, but man, I'm reading about all these brothers with these concussions, brain damage, and things like that. I forgot it was some player who blew his brains out, you know, because he had such a love for the game that he sold his soul out for the game, you know, and he wound up killing himself. Look what happened to our boy who lost his mind, Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
Living a fast life, mental health issues, chasing after the green and chasing after Tom Brady and trying to be up to par with those guys. And look what happened to that brother. Lost his mind, right? So you got to understand that according to Jeremiah 30:12, it says, "For thus says the Most High, thy bruise is incurable and thy wound is grievous." So we have to walk in our afflictions as a nation. Because this wound right now, this wound is real grievous to our nation right now. I mean, I shed tears at times with some of the things. Like my wife was just talking to me the other day. Hey, I got to stop watching the news. You know, because I was like, why are you watching that filth, man? That stuff is so depressing, and it's so much propaganda behind it that it can really leave a person in a depressed mindset or a mind state that they're not able to recover from. So we got to remember, man, that we're in this captivity for the sins of our forefathers. And after the generations and generations and generations that came after them with the continuation of the same sin. So according to Amos 5:15, it says, hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that the Lord Yahweh of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph. How do we hate the good and the evil? We got to keep the commandments, family. There's no other way around it. I mean, if anybody got a suggestion on how we can get out this captivity without the Most High Yahweh Shai, without the law, statutes, and commandments, not rehearsing the righteous acts, I'd love to hear what you have to say. If you got any comments on how we can get this done without any of the things I mentioned, I'd love to see your comment in the chat. Second Ezra 10:33 says, and he said, stand up manfully, and I will advise thee. So when we stand up as men and is accounted as men by doing the works and the righteousness of the Most High will bring all these things unto us. He will advise us the way to go. He will bring the peace and the love and the unity amongst us. It's not going to happen to everybody in our community, but for those of us that are sincere, right? It's First Maccabees 2:64 says, it says, wherefore ye, my sons, be valiant and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law. For by it ye shall obtain glory. Our glory is in the law. We have to show ourselves men. And that's a unisex scripture. Even though it's saying ye sons, it applies to our women too. So I'll read it again. First Maccabees 2:64. Wherefore ye, my sons, be valiant and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law, for by it ye shall obtain glory. Hebrews 12:7. If you endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father has not chastened? Chasteneth not. So when you're going through your chastising, when you're going through your ups and downs, just stand up and be a man. As we like to say in the world, own up to your shit. Be a man, own up to your shit, walk in it, deal with it, repent, and turn away. Easy solution. If you see about 100 dudes standing in the corner looking all evil and wicked, not to go walk past them hundred dudes. Flee from evil. And that's pretty much all I have, man. I didn't want to be too long with it.
God.
That's all I got out of one. And I was just checking the chat. I didn't see anybody take that challenge on what we can do to change ourselves without the Most High and Yahweh Shai or the law. Oh, no, Sister Sam. Oh, wow. Oh, what time is it? Okay, it's 11. Oh, she's trying to get me to go to. Love you, Sister Wanda. We love you very much. Yeah, I know we got strict orders, that we got to keep it, about 2 hours. Between me and Barack, and we can coerce Ariana to do more talking, we can go another 3 hours, but once we get vibing, man, it'll flow. But yeah, we love you, man. Hey, Humberto, give me a holler, bro. Yeah, that's my brother from Zebulon, man. It's a beautiful brother, man. That brother's got a good spirit, man.
Yeah,
Very good spirit, man. Shout out to my brother Daniela, Original Juice, Mother Bathaya, Instacarite Princess. Let me see who else. I seen Marshawn there. I seen the brother Eddie from Cleveland on there. I know I saw Abdishai on here earlier. Oh no, that wasn't him. That was just coming from the ALC Houston channel. Let me see. Am I missing anyone? Yeah, I got the brother Eddie from Cleveland. You know what? Let's go. Yeah, let's give it about. Yeah, Mall. Who's Tana? What's Tana? Okay, Khan. Okay, Tana. Okay, Khan. And then the brother Yeshaya, definitely. Shout out to that brother for his questions. And I guess we can spare about another 10, 15 minutes, man. Okay, what do y'all want to do for these last 10 minutes, man? It's 10:17 Chicago time, 11:17 Eastern Standard Time. We'll go to 10:30 our time, 11:30 y'all their time on the East Coast. So anybody got any questions or anything y'all want to chat about, or any particular videos you guys want us to hey, there we go. I don't see no new videos with the General Sharp. How's the good brother, man? The General is doing good, man. We still got him. Look, man. I hope y'all know, man. We kidnapped the General, man. We tied him up and bound him up and caught him downtown Manhattan, man, while he was at camp. We had a brawl out there. We kidnapped the brother, rolled him up, duct taped, and put him in our trunk, and he's locked up in my basement in Chicago, bro. I'm just playing, man. Nah, man. You know what's going on, brother Ray Ocasio and Shabbat Shalom, man. Now the General's doing well, man. The General's around, man. General is in a lot of the camp videos. It's just that people fail to realize the General don't like being on camera. There be times I'll be watching the brother's videos and I'll see General Sharp for like maybe 2 seconds, bink, he's gone. Like, man, the brothers, you see him for a quick second, and then when they move that camera, he's gone, man. The General's all the way around. The General is always around. He's always around, bro. And as a matter of fact, I know a few brothers that I know the brother Levi, Daniela. I know they're doing some music right now, and I think you'll be seeing the General in that video as well. And there's going to be a couple of, I'll tell you this much, man, as we get closer towards the new year, you'll probably start seeing more stuff from the General once I let him out of my basement, out of bondage, man. And okay. All right, hey, Sister Wana, I do actually for the thing about the church questions, I actually had a whole class put together. I was gonna actually do it tonight, but Barack had jumped into his bag, man, and I let the spirit run. So let me see if I can find my notes on that real quick. I know I had it together. No. Is this where I was at? I had a whole thing for that. Yeah, so probably better for me to actually just do a whole class on that, man, because I don't think that I'm gonna just be able to just provide a simple answer right? So I will say this. I'll say this about the church. Should we go to church, right? If the church is not teaching the truth and the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, I would say hell no, right? Because you got to remember in Acts 7 and 48 through 50, right? Somebody get out Acts 7, 48 through 50 for me. I don't want bubble shot. Yeah, you know what? I do got I do get a few scriptures for you, sister. I do have them. So let me see.
So like you
Think
said,
about it.
you said Acts 7.
Acts 7 and 48 through 50. Just hold on a second. Let's think about it. What do we see in most of the church houses, right? We see the junk. See, that's why I got to do a class on this, man. I got to do a class on this because this is a real touchy topic, right? Because you got to understand there's two churches. There's different types of churches and congregations out there. Like if somebody was out here in my area, I would tell them to go to the Church of Israel, Church of Jesus Christ out there in Gary, Indiana, where the Israelites are holding it down at. Well, I would tell them to go to IOG, the Israel of God out there in Riverdale, or hit up Brother Daniel, or Brother Marlon on the west side of Chicago, right? Those are Israelite congregations where they teach the law, statutes, and commandments, right? But if you're talking about a church like Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes, and Joel Osteen, no, flee from the devil's house because the spirit of the Most High don't dwell there. Go ahead, Adawan.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made of hands, as said the prophet. Verse 49. Heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. What house will ye build me, saith the Lord? Or what is the place of my rest? Verse 50. Hath not my hand made all these things?
Right. So if like oh my God, what was that song? The Spirit of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. I'm not a singer. So and I get a lot, bro. When I was in the church, man, I used to get turned up to that song, man, many years. But as the scripture just said, man, the Most High, the Most High dwelleth not in the temples made with men's hands, right? Meaning that back in Israel, like we did have the temple brothers, the Levitical priests were in the inner courts, and the congregation were in the outer courts, right? That was a righteous gathering. Why? Because you had prophets like the teach prophets like Isaiah and Jeremiah and Isaiah and the people, Nehemiah and so on and so on. They were inside the outer courts teaching the people, or standing on the streets on every Sabbath teaching the laws and statutes. I think get that for me, Ariana, Nehemiah, when they were teaching on the street corners, teaching them the law, statutes, and commandments from sun up to sundown. Another scripture I wanted to give you was when you really want to go into the New Testament and look at the church, right? Where were a lot of these people gathering at, right? Because when we automatically hear with church, we're so westernized, we think of these big ass buildings or the small churches in the hood next to the liquor store and the crack addicts and drug addicts, right? So let's go to Colossians. Let me see, Colossians 4 and 15, and I'll read it. And it reads Colossians 4 and 15. Salute the brethren which are in Laodicea and Nymphos, and the church which is in his house. So this right here, these people were gathering in some man's house as a gathering location, as a church. So you can gather in one's house, you can gather with 2 or 3 people, go through the scriptures, study, keep the commandments. That's a church. You're a congregation, you're a body, you're a wing, you're a block, you're a team, believers of the same doctrine, right? Another thing that we can read is let's go to the book of Philemon, chapter 1 and 2. So this is Philemon chapter 1, verse 1. Paul, a prisoner of Mashiach Yahushua and Timothy, our brother, unto Philemon, our dearly beloved and fellow laborer, and to our beloved Aphia and Archippus, our fellow soldier, and to the church in thy house. So we don't have a building in Chicago like me, a school location for ambassadors of Christ. And I did see the brother's question about Miami. We don't have a physical building as far as what we might call a school down in Chicago, but we gather at each other's houses. We keep the holy days together. Brothers and sisters from other locations across the city or wherever, we gather together at their houses. Sometimes we might be up at Cleveland. We might gather at Zion's house on the Shabbat. They keep church at Zion's house before they hit the streets. And afterwards, we might wind up doing something over at Barak's house, you know? So it's really not being in the building. Because remember, the scripture says that we are the church. So as a matter of fact, that, oh, praise the Most High, I just got, that was great precept. Hold on, let me get that. Because I'm going to ask you, where did we first have church? Where was the first church at? Let's go back to Acts 7 and 38 again. Ariad, you should still be there. Give me Acts 7 and 38. Okay. So we're going to find out the first time we can really find anything out about a church in the Bible. Because once we grab this, then we got to go back to the precept. Acts 7 and 38. I don't want whenever you're ready, bro.
I got it right now. This is the book of Acts, chapter 7 and verse 48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands.
No, Salakia 7 and 38.
Oh, okay, slide.
No worries, bro.
Acts chapter 7, verse 38. This is that Moses which said unto the children of Israel, a prophet shall the Lord your God raise up.
Salakia, Aki on the wrong verse. Acts chapter 7, verse 38. 38, Baba Kashab. Acts 7 and 38.
I got it. Verse 38. This is he that was in the church in the wilderness.
Stop. Read that again.
This is he that was in the church in the wilderness.
Stop. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
We were in the church that was in the wilderness. We were not dwelling in any buildings when we were in the wilderness with Moses. There was no wilderness. There was no buildings. There was no cathedrals. There was nothing like that. And guess what was happening? You had the entire nation of Israel gathered together as one man without a building, right? So let me get you a precept on that. Let's go to Exodus 19. Exodus 19 real quick. And I thought I seen something else, and I'll try to address it.
I can get it. Exodus chapter 19, verse 1.
Hold on, let me see where I was.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Start at verse 1 and then drop down to verse 3.
Okay. God, this is the book of Exodus chapter 19, verse 1. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day they came into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim, Rephidim, Salak, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness. And there Israel camped before the mount.
So, Barak, do me a favor. Pull the definition. You know what? Let me do a screen share real quick. Can I share my screen?
Con.
Okay, Con. Let me see something. So we got let's get an understanding. Let's get a definition. So right when we automatically think of the church in from a Western mindset, we automatically think that it's a building used for public Christian worship, right? Just as the definitions say, right? Can y'all see that? Y'all can see my screen? So let me see. So you see, let me see. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah, you can actually.
Yeah.
Okay, it
yeah.
says a building. It says a building used for public Christian worship. A particular Christian organization, typically one with its own clergy, buildings, and distinctive doctrines. Right. So let's find out what a church is. Right. A church is a sect. It says a group of people with somewhat different religious belief, right? Typically regarded as heretical from those of a larger group which they belong. So we see another word for church is a sect, right? Let's get another precept or synonym. Hold on, let me go back because this thing is not doing what it usually does. Let's go to a creed, right? A creed is also a church, a system of Christian or other religious belief, a faith, right? So we know we're not Christians, but I'm just trying to give you an understanding of what a church is, right? It's just not something about a building, right? Because the church is also a squad, a gang, a sect, a group of believers, a team. Let me see. What else we got? Jesus, this thing is, I don't know. This thing is switched up on me. But let me see if I can find synonyms for. Let me get some synonyms real quick. My bad. I used to know this off the top of my head, man, and I still do. Church synonym. Let's get a quick breakdown on that real quick. Church, we got that. All right, so we're in the thesaurus, right? So we got all these different different synonyms for a church, right? A sanctuary, a shrine, a bethel, a minister, a fold, a tabernacle, a house of prayer. So your house itself can be a house of prayer for anyone if you guys are up in there keeping the the law, statutes, and commandments that you're teaching people as such, right? So another definition is let me see. This is not doing it. So pretty much, just a short example of what I was trying to say. So pretty much, a church is a group, a team, a family, a clique, a unit, a body of believers, right? So you don't have to be in some gigantic church building listening to Creflo Dollar. And you know what, bro? I am going to say something to you right now, Barack. I am going to say something to you. I just thought about it. Give me a second. Let me go into my messenger again. No, you know what? Do me a favor, Ak. Go into the. Let me see if I can go in. Yeah, you should be able to get access to it. Go into the ambassador's room and go back to 2:20 a.m. for what Chief Priest Saban Ariat dropped up in there with the little baby boy, right? I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's the one right before you dropped your class in there. And if not, I can forward it over to you also. It's pretty hilarious too.
Okay, I got it.
Good. When you get a chance, open it up. I want y'all to pay attention to this. This is why you don't want to be in church, man, because this is brainwashing. But watch. See if you can expand it as much as you can.
No, you can't. I'm good.
Look, calm down. Calm down. Are you done now?
You got the glory
Okay, now.
of my brother,
Bruh.
my father, my sister.
You don't have a sister.
My sister in Christ in grandma. He's my brother in Christ. Do you know that? I really do. Do you know that? I do. Lord, you know about the glory. Lord, you give the glory of God.
Luke, calm down. Luke, calm down. Luke, calm down. You done now?
You got the glory
Okay, now.
of my brother.
I think
God, you go to kill it now. Right. So we're not laughing at the child because that's an innocent baby, right? But we see it like the scripture says from the mouth of babes, right? This is what this child is perceiving in the church. Because when I'm in the church, I hear the same screaming and Lord, ha, and Tosh, ha, ha, ha. What is that? You telling me I got to spend a lot of money on a Sunday best to get fresh and dressed and impressed, to go up in there and listen to a man screaming and hollering without giving me no scriptures? Or to have them speaking to me in a tongue, in a so-called, you shout out about it, I got that, whatever that nonsense is, speaking in tongues for a language that's not a real language. What are we doing here? What are you really going to church for? Are you really going for a concert? Or are you really learning to be edified, going to be edified? Sister Wanda Woman said it reminded her of my old pastor, God. And it's a beautiful thing because the young brother, man, that baby boy, oh, man, I can see right now, man, he's going to be one of them upcoming pastors in the church unless you run across this truth, man. We all send up prayers for the young brother, for the young kid, man, that he comes across the Israelites, man, and don't pass on their generational curse, because actually I call that a curse.
Yeah.
It's been passed on from generation to generation through the lies and deception of Esau, right?
Yeah.
And you could, and the baby, because there's other videos up there. He's a very handsome young guy, man. Beautiful smile, full face. You can tell he's going to be a big, strong young ox and all of that. You know, and I pray that man, he get his fringes and tassels together and come on to these front lines, man, because that young brother, man, he got the zeal, man. That young brother's been raised in the church, and he's got a beautiful spirit, man, and it's not his fault. And actually, it's really not our people's fault, because remember, the Most High said He's going to put that spirit of slumber upon us, with eyes that they can't see, and ears that they can't hear. So we're just going to pray for our people, man, that they come up out of that, and pray for that baby, man, because there's you got those babies being taught that in the church, and then you got them drag queens and all them other weirdos, the LGBT Rainbow Coalition gang going into these schools reading these books to your children. And what's interesting about it is they're trying to say that for us parents like myself that would have an issue with a dragster trying to go read a story to my kid, they're saying, hey, man, men and women have been dressing up in makeup and costumes all their lives. So now they're trying to compare what they're doing to what someone like Bozo the Clown or a clown in the circus would do, right? Well, I ain't never liked no damn clowns to begin with. They were all weird to me also. You know, I look at it, if you got to wear that much makeup to make money, and that means you're ashamed of yourself. You're hiding who you are. And I wouldn't imagine if I could imagine that most of those guys were perverts too. So they want to say that we're homophobic because we don't want our children to learn about diversity. Man, take that diversity with a swift kick to the face, straight up. And this is why it's important that we gather as a nation. But remember, Christ sent them out in twos, man. He sent them out in twos. It don't need to be 50 brothers. It don't need to be 100 women. We don't have to be a big number to gather as a body to study to grow, fast, pray, and meditate as a nation. You know what I'm saying? And on that note, I went past my time. It is 10:40. I almost got her to wish. It's 11:40, Wanda. It's 11:40, sister. 11:40. 19 more minutes. We cannot do. But on that note, I'm good over here. You want to say anything, Barack? Because I see the wheels turning in your head, Prince. Young King, young Lion. Y'all, anything in y'all mind? Anything floating up in there in y'all bowl that y'all want to share before we cut out?
Nah.
No, I'm good. The water for
And God, and God said, and on that note, Asha Shabbat, man. Peace to the family. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, family.